Hi guys, Kaiser here, and welcome back to Age of Empires 3, The Age of the World. If you're not familiar, The Age of the World is a mod that brings in a host of new civilizations into the game, and I've got to give credit to Kaito Santos and the Age of the World team because they've done a really amazing job updating this mod. I mean, they've brought in new civilizations since my last video, they've updated some of their original Age of the World civs. They've even brought the mod into the game itself through the AoE3 mod browser. And if you want to know how to check out the mod for yourself, I'll show you how to do that quickly at the end of this video. But first, I want to talk about one of the most exciting additions in the Age of the World. A civilization that, in my personal opinion, belongs at the top of my own wish list for civs I would want to see in AoE3 proper. And they are the Cherokee. Today we're going to take a look at the Cherokee, and what I want to do first is actually talk a little bit about this civilization, these people, and explain why I think they're so cool, why I think they deserve to be in AoE 3. I want to highlight that, and then talk about the actual implementation of the Cherokee in the Age of the World. So if you only care about gameplay, go ahead and just skip over to the timestamp on your screen. But if you want to see and talk a little bit about the history of the Cherokee, why they're so cool and belong in AoE 3, let's go ahead and dive right into that. So what is it about the Cherokee that's so interesting? Well, I think that they have such a fascinating history and a culture generally, as well as these hooks that make them so interesting and unique from an AoE 3 perspective and a war video game, strategy game perspective that makes them really cool. And let's talk about that. When you talk about Cherokee history, which, by the way, I am by no means a Cherokee expert or a master of the field, but from what I've read of them, they are very fascinating, and I'm just sharing my novice perspective there. But if you look at Cherokee history, it seems that you can split Cherokee history into a time period before or after 1775. Before the arrival of the English settlers, the Cherokee had a very interesting history. Their peoples were governed in different towns. And these towns, or cities, the little places, they were called red towns or white towns. And they were led respectively by a red chief or a white chief. And the red chiefs were chieftains that organized their towns and had a focus on warfare, whether that's offense or defense. They were focused on war and combat. Whereas the white towns were peace towns, and they were more focused on peace, and I presume domesticity and some elements of that. You can already see how, from an RTS perspective, you have these two separate paths that you could take as the Cherokee, a war path or a peace path, right? You already see that coming into play here. They also had, kind of, when looking at their military, if you will, they had a high reverence for their scouts. They were called ravens, and they were not just, scouts, but they were leaders among the Cherokee, and in particular the Raven of Chota, if I'm remembering correctly, was this highly revered leader among the Cherokee, and he was, again, a Raven, a scout. You also had wise men and wise women of the Cherokee, the Gigao, if I'm pronouncing that right, probably not, but the Gigao was a wise woman among the Cherokee, and you earned that title and that reverence and respect either by doing something noteworthy and honorable as a woman in a peacetime environment, or by doing something remarkable in war, by really standing out as part of the Cherokee war movement, right? And that's how you'd earn the title of Gigao. So these highly respected, they were called blessed women or wise women. There was this war element, and I know that would be very appealing to a lot of people in a strategy game environment. In 21st century, we like to have, the idea of a wise woman, warrior woman, makes a lot of sense, and it's very appealing. And then we have the arrival of the English, and this changes the name of the game entirely. Relationships develop between the English and the Cherokee, business and trade. Missionaries are coming from the English to the Cherokee, sharing not just the gospel, but also the English way of life. And this marks this gradual adaptation and adoption of English Western culture to the Cherokee. right? According to my research, a really big moment is in 1775 with the Treaty of Sycamore Shoals, where the Cherokee developed this business relationship with an English company. They sell some land to the English, and it marks a pretty pivotal moment for Cherokee culture and civilization. Diplomatically, the Cherokee aligned themselves with the English throughout this period. We see them joining with the English in the French and Indian Wars. We see them joining with the English during the American Revolution, the War for Independence. The Cherokee fight with the British, or at least they fight on the British side. I don't know if they ever fought together on the same battlefield, but they fight together. And even after America wins that War for Independence and we go into the early 19th century, the westernization kicks into overdrive. Gone are the red towns and white towns, and instead we have a unified republic of the Cherokee, a Cherokee nation that has adopted their own constitution in the mold of what we would see out of the Americans. We see that they have developed their own language. Famously, Sequoia develops the syllabary, which is referenced in game with the minor tribe. We have Sequoia's syllabary as a technology, but I mean, I think that might undersell just how remarkable the transformation is, where you have this written language that is developed really quickly. Sequoia is a genius. He develops this language, and then shortly after that, 1826, if I'm not mistaken, is the creation of the very first Native American, North American newspaper, the Cherokee Phoenix, which is just remarkable, and I think underlines just how remarkable the westernization of the culture is taking place in the Cherokee. We're seeing this transformation take place again in the culture, in the government. I would imagine in the military as well. I don't have a lot of facts to share with you on that, but we're seeing sort of throughout Cherokee culture this syncretizing of Cherokee and Western European English culture. And that leads them to being what are called one of the 5 civilized tribes. And I know some of my audience might react to that, but that's actually an official title that the Cherokee hold on to this day. It's a group of 5 tribes that are, remarkable for having adopted Western English civilization to this degree and made it their own and developed again kind of their own syncretizing of these two cultures. It's the Cherokee, and I remember it's the Creek and the Choctaw are 3 of them, and I forget off the top of my head the other 2. But that's a group of tribes that is to this day they claim that title and that group. So it's that right there that I think makes them so fascinating as an AoE3 civilization. I mean, the Cherokee people before the arrival of the English by themselves would make for an interesting civilization to put into AoE3. But I think it's that element of the syncretizing of the Native American, the Cherokee, and the English Western culture together, and the union that comes out of that makes them so fascinating, and I think is a blind spot that AoE3 doesn't really have. To my eyes, I don't think the Haudenosaunee or the Lakota really capture that idea at all. And so I think it would make them a really fascinating civilization. That's why they're at the top of my list for civs that I would love to see in AoE3. And I'm really excited to showcase now what the Age of the World brings to the table. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, here we are at the start of the match. And before I get into any talk about the unique gameplay features or the elements of the Cherokee, I've got to start this overview the way I seem to start every Age of the World video, by just gushing over the town centers. There's a bunch of unique buildings, and the TCs in particular. Kaito Santos and team, you guys do an amazing job of creating these really cool town centers that are so evocative of the culture that you're representing, but also fit in perfectly into the AoE3 game. So this TC just looks so cool, and we will see this actually update and evolve as we level up over the game, which is pretty neat. So I have constructed a couple of level 1 buildings, and most of them look pretty typical. We've got ourselves a Cherokee hut right here, group of houses. They support by default 10 population, but if we research large villages, they'll each support 5 more. We've got our farms, which we can research corn harvest to ship in more food. So, you know, really nice looking farm there. I forget if that's a unique design. I think that is a unique look. Pretty cool. We have here the sentry post. Looks like a giant teepee. Sentry post here works as a tower. Pretty neat. Tribal marketplace, which just works like any other Native American tribe. And the trading post, which looks pretty normal. So all of this is normal. The main feature that they get here in Age 1, which is neat, is the railroad work post. This is their replacement for the marketplace. And I believe that aesthetically this is supposed to represent, again, that alliance with the British, the whole Treaty of Sequoia Shoals thing. So I think this is a really cool concept to have in the civilization. You get your usual marketplace functions. You also have the big button, Solidified Alliance. A tighter bond with the American Railroad Company allows British railroad workers to be trained at the artillery foundry and shipped from your home city. Now, the description does not say this, but they are not available until Age 3. So even if I research this now, and I will, we won't actually get to use that until Age 3. But we'll come back. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the railroad workpost later. But at this point, let's go ahead and level up to Age 2. Notice the amazing portraits, by the way. All of these civilizations in Age of the World have been updated with these really cool, unique portraits. So we've got here the chief, the elder, the wise woman, the warrior, and the messenger. We'll go with the warrior. He sends 3 Cherokee riflemen, which, if I'm not mistaken, is only available in Age 3 normally. So we actually get a few Age 3 units in Age 2 if we pick up the rifleman. And likewise here with Scouting Party. I think I could pick this up in Age 2, and that will ship 5 Cherokee Riflemen. But when I build the barracks, we'll see if I'm right or not about the Cherokee Riflemen. While we're teching up, so one of the things I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be showcasing the Civ. I'm also going to be sharing my thoughts about the civilization. Like I mentioned with the railroad workpost, its main function, other than being a marketplace, is that it's supposed to bring in these railroad workers. And when we get to the railroad workers, they are functionally just like the arsonists in AoE3. Or the, I'm trying to remember the names. The guys that throw the Molotov cocktails. You know, they throw explosives, and the explosives, you know, they do area of effect damage. The Grenadiers. They're like Grenadiers of AoE3, right? And that's pretty much it. I love the railroad workpost and the existence of the railroad worker as a unit. I love the concept of it. Although I do think that there's something missing about how the railroad post works. I would love, if it were possible, for this to actually be like something you could build on a trading post, to make this the railroad post and have like the workers working on the roads. I don't know if that's possible or not. I also wish that, and you're going to see when we look at the railroad workers, they're just basically grenadiers. And it would be cool if they had some unique function, like they're grenadiers that are able to build trade posts. I think that would make a lot of sense functionally. It would kind of give them a unique element, right? Or if there was just something extra. I think the envelope could be pushed a little bit further when it comes to either the work post itself or the work post itself or the or the railroad workers, right? Okay, so they've been knocked out. Let's go ahead and build a stable here. And I think that's it for Age 2. Alright. And we're going to go ahead and... We'll just go straight to Age 3 while we're showcasing off Age 2. Cherokee Rifleman doing work. One thing that's been done in the game, and this is actually not true of vanilla AoE3. Kaiser Santos has actually fixed this. He has fixed it to where the Cherokee Riflemen, they actually look like the portrait. That was not the case previously. If you boot up vanilla AoE3 and you build the Cherokee Riflemen, you'll see they look very different. So I like the aesthetic update there. I'm really big about aesthetics, how things look and the feel. And they do a pretty good job here. So we see in the barracks, we do have, I was mistaken. I was hyping things up wrong. We have the Cherokee Rifleman here in Age 2. The Chickamauga War Club. It's kind of our pikeman unit, essentially, right? He's a melee guy. Heavy infantry. He's going to be good against cavalry. The Cherokee Rifleman is a skirmisher, so a light infantry unit, good against other infantry. Not like, let's see, they're good against heavy infantry and light cav, but not so good against heavy cav. We also have the Bowie Knifeman. I'm going to go ahead and research him too. He's a warrior wielding a Bowie knife that is deadly at melee range. Attacks faster when low on health. So, I'm going to guess he's kind of like a halberdier sort of unit. I mean, he costs gold instead of wood. So, I'm going to guess that he's a more expensive, superior version of the Chickamauga War Club. Strategically. It's like, why would you pick one versus the other? I think that would be the reason why. Meanwhile, in the stables in H2, we do have the Cherokee Light Horse. Armed with a spear, and probably kind of their version of a Hussar. Right. We've just hit age 3, which means that we are now able to build our siege workshop. Just look at these cool buildings, by the way. The war hut looks pretty nice. The stables look awesome. Right? I think so, anyway. Stables look really cool. And then the siege workshop just looks great. Did I build? You know, one thing I did not build, I will go ahead and build this just for completion's sake, although I don't think it's actually any different, is the, oh, where are you? There we go. The community plaza. It just looks like a regular community plaza. And that'll be relevant for, you know, shortly. So let's see. Here's our light horse cavalry. I like it. I like it. Here in Age 4, we get the Gigao, which I mentioned, you know, in our overview section, is one unit that I would imagine everyone would want to see in a, you know, in a Cherokee civilization. The blessed woman, the warrior woman, that would be the Gigao, who's on her way. And she is an elite Cherokee female warrior that throws tomahawks at range and beats down cavalry at melee range. So this is essentially your musketeer unit, which you don't really get musketeer in Age 3, but here in Age 4, you have the Gigao. And just checking here, yeah, heavy infantry, yeah, that's your musketeer unit. In the stables, we have unlocked the mounted rifle, ranged cavalry. Here we go, we've got the Black Locust Bowman, which is kind of like the Aztec, the siege archer unit. A long-range archer that fires flaming arrows laced with petroleum, dealing burning damage over time. Good against artillery and buildings. So that's kind of your culverin unit. The railroad worker. I'm going to build him here. Railroad company worker that throws dynamite at buildings, dealing heavy siege damage, and has a weak hand attack to fend off other units. Then we get the ram and the light cannon in Age 4, both of which are from the Haudenosaunee. They're pretty typical. Railroad guard. Guarding the moving trains from thieves, reduces the cost of trading route upgrades, and increases their income. That's a nice little bit of synergy again with the trade posts. Again, it makes me want something more out of the railroad workers. Here you go. You see that they are heavy infantry. They do siege damage. They're grenadiers. That's what they do. And I'd love to just see something more, but I probably harped on that enough. But I think the synergy between the siege and the trade post is kind of nice, and I think that would make for a fun, unique gameplay hook for the Cherokee. So figuring some things out there could be cool. Giving your trade post something to do with your siege, or siege should do something with your trade posts. I don't know. I think there's some cool things there. I think there's something a little bit more. So here we go. Black Locust Bowman. You see, they got a cool little glow when they stand still. The fire arrows are ready to go. Very unique. Very cool. And let's go ahead and make sure I've got all the big buttons. Scout parties. Cherokee all cap train faster. Cherokee travelers. The travelers of the tribe teach your warriors where to look for danger, increasing all infantry line of sight. Neat. All right. What else do I have in Age 4? I've also got the cotton plantation. And I think, and then the native embassy, which is just, you know, the native embassy. Right? And I think that pretty much covers it when it comes to the buildings and the units and what the Cherokee have. And otherwise, I would just... I'm sorry, I'm in Age 3. Gigao, I've been saying Age 2. We're in Age 3, so the Gigao are Age 3. These guys are all Age 2. Yeah. Y'all know. You know what I'm talking about. We can go into Age 4. We'll pick up the Elder on this one. Let's do it. And let's move, as I move my army forward to, you know, get some action out of our Cherokee army here. Let's go ahead and look at their unique cards. I've built a deck showcasing what I believe to be all of the unique or notable cards that the Cherokee get. Here's the Community Plaza, by the way, with Spirit of the Bison. Improves the effectiveness of villagers and bison if the Bison Worship Home City card has been sent that are tasked to the Community Plaza. Okay. So, let me see. I don't know if there's anything unique here. Green Corn Ceremony to generate food over time.
Let's get
into a fight. Let's watch the Gigao as they do their work. Just throwing tomahawks at the Tomahawk Warrior. Right. Meanwhile, we've got the Black Locust Bowmen. I'm going to put them on the town center. Where are my...
What is your command?
They're the railroad workers. Did you see how they were using the... You see how they're using their pickaxes? That is pretty hilarious. I like that a lot. Alright, now they pull out the dynamite. I do find it funny how... Okay, the railroad workers, they have the American accent. I think they say the American Railroad Company. I believe in an old version it used to say the British Railroad.
Chicago.
Which, you know, is also funny, so... That makes sense. Alright. Cool. Alright. Let's pull them back, because I don't want Tokugawa to surrender. But we got to see some action there. Now let's look at the deck and see everything that the Cherokee have. Alright. So you've got 3 villagers. You also have 3 imprisoned settlers. These are Western villagers captured by the Cherokee that construct buildings and gather resources. Now these guys are interesting. You know, I asked the team on Discord about it, and I will have a link, by the way, to the Age of the World Discord. You can go there if you have any questions of your own. I asked them about these imprisoned settlers, and they are functionally identical to the villagers themselves, except that I guess they're typically infinite, so you can send them repeatedly. I'm a little bit confused about this, both mechanically and aesthetically. Mechanically, I don't find it terribly interesting that they don't do anything unique. There's nothing special about imprisoned settlers. Why wouldn't you, in this situation, I would just send the villagers card. And typically, if you build out your deck of villagers card, I just don't see a situation where you'd want to go imprisoned settlers. I don't think these cards are that great, to be honest, from a strategy point of view. And as well as aesthetically, I don't know, and I may be wrong about this, I will admit ignorance, but it doesn't strike me as the case that the Cherokee are particularly well known for, you know, capturing Western settlers and bringing them into Cherokee lands. Again, for me, the big theme for the Cherokee would be the syncretism and the synergy of the Native American and the Western cultures. And I just don't see them, I don't see them as a people that were known for capturing and imprisoning, you know, English or American, you know, settlers or citizens and putting them to work in Cherokee lands. To me, that would be something more along the lines of the Comanche. Would be known for that sort of thing. And building kind of a theme around that. I could be mistaken, but that's kind of my reaction there. We can unlock the town ceremony, letting your villagers boost buildings in combat. Pretty cool. A building that you have access to, but you don't get without sending the shipment. You get to send 2 campfire travois and allow villagers to build them. Campfires attract hunt, increase nearby villagers' gather rates from huntables, and heal nearby idle units. So we'll get to see them in a second, but these guys are kind of like, you know, if you're an AoE3 fan, you just have seen with the Georgians how they have the fortified churches, which allow them to, you know, boost the gather rate of villagers near the church. That's going to be like this. The campfires will boost villager gather rates and also heal units. So there's a peacetime function and a military function for the campfires. Pretty cool. Alright, here we go. Let's throw one down right here just for fun of it. Put one by the farms here. Cherokee huntsmanship. Villagers gather food from hunted animals faster. Lynx pelt trade. Gather coin from tribal marketplaces faster. Alright. Bison worship. Improves the effectiveness of healers tasked to the community plaza. And allows bison to participate in ceremonies at the community plaza with reduced weight compared to a villager. So if you have like capturable bison units, so not these wild units, but guys that you can actually control and move over, just like llamas for the Inca, you can move the bison into the community plaza and have them working as well. I think there's probably, let me see if there's one in here for, I know Spirit of the Bison would ship bison, I believe, including some controllable units. Yeah, I think these are all old. Okay, did I said the wrong thing. There we go. Here we go. At the town, where is it? This is at the farm. Yeah, so you can train bison and then task the bison to the community plaza if you've shipped bison worship. Water ceremony as well. Of course, giving you another option for your tribal community plaza. In Age 2, advanced scouts, native scout build limit, hit points, and damage have been increased. And recently, the Native Americans were buffed to where their scouts do more damage versus mercenaries. So this is a really good pickup, if you're dealing with someone going into a merc build. Ship 2 healers, okay, got it. White Chief or Red Chief. All right, that's a nice link to, again, that historical element I was mentioning earlier. Your War Chief learns the way of the peace of the Cherokee White Chiefs, gaining increased HP, the ability to heal, and becoming able to build campfires if unlocked through the home city. Okay? Or the Red Chief. Your War Chief learns the ways of war of the Cherokee Red Chiefs, and gaining an increased attack, gaining increased range, and becoming able to critically strike on attack, so making him a much better fighter. Right? Now, one thing that is sad, you are able to pick up both of these. I would have loved for this to be an either-or option, just thematically going with the white route or the red route. One way that you could have seen that is maybe in Age 2 when you're picking a politician. Do something like what you might see in Wars of Liberty, if you're familiar with that mod, where 2 of your politicians represent the white path and 2 of your politicians represent the red path. And depending on which one you pick, you just get that option, but you can only choose one. I like the idea of forcing you to pick one way or the other. But either way, I do like that they are represented there. That's cool reference. Warrior culture, villager attack increased. Smoke signals sends a campfire travois and enables powerful, unique technologies at the campfire. Let's go ahead and pick that up. The new ways enables certain European arsenal improvements in your TPs. Now, this belongs into the civilization. This is a home city that is available for other Native American civs. For me, I would make this New Ways the Civ. That I would look for opportunities to go even further with this than just a card like this, but I like it. You do get a couple of interesting options. Ranged cavalry, cardinal, infantry breastplate, counter-infantry riflery, and cavalry cuirass. In Age 3, increase the attack and HP of the Cherokee war huts. Right, your war huts do have a ranged attack, so they kind of serve as towers of a sort. Right, you get to ship railroad workers. You are not able to ship this card unless you've picked up the technology from the railroad workpost. Anisahoni support. They send 6 Cherokee light horses and 6 Cherokee mounted rifles. Nice. The 7 Cherokee clans. Shipments from the 7 clans are cheaper. And so you actually see here, I think I've got an example of one version of this. So there are 7 clans that you can call upon, Native American clans, the Anigat, I'm not even going to try to pronounce these, but you can read them there. The 7 clans who each represent, like this one, for example, shipping the Anisahoni send 6 light horses and 6 mounted rifles. Each clan will send you different combinations of Cherokee units, which is pretty cool. So you could stack up these units and then get a cost reduction on them, making them very worthwhile. 5 Renegade Americans and 10 Renegade Canadians. So this is kind of representing that element of that Western relationship, which is good. I think in my version of a Cherokee Civ, yeah, I'd want to see some, I think particularly British units early on. Again, representing the connection that the Cherokee and the British had over the French and Indian Wars, the War for Independence, the American War for Independence, or the Revolutionary War. I'd like to see a lot more British, like some redcoat shipments or something like that, or longbow shipments, right? Maybe Green Ranger shipments might work better. I don't know, but some British shipments would be cool. So here they've got Americans. I don't know about Canadian Cherokee relationships, but okay. I'll take that. Old Ways, age 4. All special big button upgrades have their price greatly reduced. North American Trade. Villagers gather extra coin. Cherokee Braves ships a number of Cherokee mounted rifles from the Cherokee Braves Regiment, and all mounted rifles become stronger when in a group. Let's build another campfire. Let's just build some houses real quick. And finally, we have the Railroad Gun License. Ships a number of railroad workers and allows all railroad workers to use a gun to attack at range, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You gotta like that. Alright, and I think that covers it for the deck. Currently, as of this recording, I believe those are the main cards that the Cherokee have. Here, by the way, the technologies. Sacred Fire greatly increases the campfire area heal. Kanuchi Soup. Cherokee use the meat they hunt to add to the Kanuchi Soup, increasing the food gather rate and yield from huntables and herdables. Cherokee Moon Ceremonies. Cherokee share their food during their regular moon ceremonies, providing a trickle of food for the rest of the game. And River Garden Campfires. Allow campfires to also boost farming and tree gathering rates. That's a nice pickup. Raiding camps allows Cherokee infantry to build campfires. Now that's cool. That means you can move forward with your military, take over an area, bring your villagers in, and then your army, who's guarding the place, can throw down the campfires to help make your economy flow even better. I do want to take a look at these guys because I think they look really cool. This is a snapshot of what I would be looking for out of the Cherokee, civs. They look more westernized, and that would be sort of the push that I think makes the Cherokee very unique compared to the Haudenosaunee or the Lakota, is that leaning into the syncretism and the probably a certain element of what if, but you don't even have to lean into what if. Is that these guys had here? What I'm gonna do real quick. I want to see these technologies just to see if they look any different as we take them up. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like the skins change at all that I can tell. So yeah, okay. Right. Still, they look pretty cool. Yeah, no changes there. All right. So I think that pretty much covers it for the let's see those guys. I think that's pretty much it for the Cherokee overview. So my last thoughts. I mean, I think this civilization looks amazing. There are a lot of references that are really great, and I think that, again, it spotlights how the Cherokee are such a unique civilization that could really do some cool things in this game, and really do belong, in my opinion, in AoE3 as a full civ proper. There are some things that I do think could be different. I've already mentioned the trading, the work post, and the railroad worker. I think there's something missing there. Like I said, I think it'd be cool if these could be your trade post replacements. That may not be possible. If it's not possible, then even just adding in something, like, for example, you're limited to a build of 1, but it gives you the same kind of XP as a trade post. Might be cool. Or again, giving your railroad workers the ability to build trading posts, to lean into that, railroad worker element, would be pretty cool. I think that would be neat. Some other things, the Gigao. One of the things that is true about the Gigao is that they were leaders of the tribe. I mean, these were supposed to be rare women of excellence who, really showed off incredible bravery or skill on the battlefield. And I don't know that it makes a lot of sense for them to just be mass-produced musketeer units. I think it'd be cool if the Gigao were limited to units that you shipped from your home city. Like, you couldn't train them. They came in from your home city, but they were really strong, and they provided this leadership bonus to other units in the area. So, like, maybe your Gigao, they make your riflemen, or make your infantry better at fighting cavalry, or, they give them just plus HP and movement speed, or whatever it is. They add in some kind of bonus that really leans into the leadership, the elder part of it. I think that would be cool. I've already mentioned the idea of the white chief and the red chief. I think that would be cool as kind of an age 1 option that you're forced to go one way or the other. You're building your Cherokee town in either the path of the reds or the whites. But you've got to make that choice, right? I think that would be cool. As far as here's the native embassy. Gun running enables your native embassy to recruit outlaws and mortars. That's pretty cool. That's a nice pickup. I think the only other thing is just, as you move into like an age 3 or age 4, whatever, I would love to see the Cherokee be even more, again, leaning into that syncretism. Things like, for example, maybe instead of the community plaza, what if they had something like, here's what I'm getting at, something like, I remember I was talking about the Cherokee newspaper, the Cherokee Phoenix. If they had something like the fairgrounds or the news stall or something like that, which would lean into that. You're leaning into, or maybe you give them a Capitol building, which references their development of their own constitution and their own Republican form of government. That the community plaza looks way more like, it's kind of supported and has these unique technologies of the newspaper or the Constitution or what have you. I think we've got to see a reference to Sequoia's syllabary, which I have overlooked if I've not found it. That has to be in here, right? And I would just like to see more of that combination of the Native American and the Western influence, whether that's the English or the Americans, that influence kind of interwoven in the civilization to really make them stand out as unique, both from an aesthetic point of view, a historical point of view, and from a gameplay point of view, compared to what we might see out of the Haudenosaunee or the Lakota or what have you. I think that's pretty much it. So guys, this is a really cool civilization, and if you want to try them out for yourself, let me show you really quickly how you can download the Age of the World. All you've got to do is go to Tools, go to Mods, go over to Browse Mods and type in Age of the World, and hit Enter. And it'll take a second to load up here, but eventually we're going to see the Age of the World right here. You hit the subscribe button and you're good. It'll take a while to download, so you're going to have to wait a little bit, but all you do is you hit subscribe and you wait and it downloads. There's also the bonus Circle of Ossus civilization that you can try out. If you want to try that civilization, bring that into the Age of the World. It's from the same group, so that's the Age of the World for you. It's as simple as that, and then you'll see the mods, Age of the World and Circle of Ossus, in your installed mods. Restart your game, go to Skirmish, and you'll see all the new civs. You can try them out. It is a really fun mod, and I encourage each and every one of you to check it out. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this overview of the Cherokee. They are a really awesome civilization. I love showcasing them. If you enjoy this video, consider liking it, subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate you guys that do that. And thanks for watching. For now, this is the Iron Kaiser, signing off. God bless and have a great one out there, guys.